Hi, welcome back. This class will be the second one I've done on ropes, and this time I will bring in some more backbending action, some more arm strengthening action, core action. So follow along, and I will explain when I change the ropes in different positions for the harness, the sling, the one rope system. There's a few different systems, so I'll try and show you all of those so that you're clear. Before we get started, if you want to learn the basics of Iyengar Yoga, I've designed a new course, Foundational Iyengar Yoga. This course is for you if you're a beginner, if you've been practicing for a while and you just want to deepen your understanding, or if you're a teacher and you would like to be more inspired, go back to the basics. So it's a 6-week course, 18 different classes, and you'll be able to go through at your own pace. You can find more details in the description box below. Okay, so first we're just going to start with a little bit of warming up, arm opening, shoulder opening. So you're just going to take the ropes, fingers are facing downward, and your collarbones are wide, rolling your shoulders back. So not lifting your shoulders up, but moving them down. Okay, so first just get that length. You can come forward till the arms are fully extended, till the elbows are straight. All right, and then you can start to lean forward a little bit. So you can feel that length coming onto the forearm and the elbow, the upper arm, the shoulder. So your shoulder blades are moving forward, your chest is lifting. So I'm not really moving forward too much, but just getting a little bit of that momentum, and that's the direction that I'm moving. All right, and now I'm going to come onto my toes, lift up, and walk forward a little bit, and then just lean a little bit more so I can feel the arms being drawn back, and at the same time I want the shoulders to widen, shoulder blades to move down and forward. And then as I press into the feet, lift up through the knees, lift up through the thighs, and bring the hips forward. Okay, then I'm come down. Walk my feet back a bit now. Take hold of the ropes. If the ropes are, you probably already know, if you're at home, you have ropes. You can use a hand towel there on the ropes if it's too much pressure for you. So I walk back a little bit, and now I'm going to move my hips back, lengthen the arms, and then I'll come onto the balls of my feet, and I'll scoop my hips in and lift and scoop the upper back. So here, as I press into the mounds of the toes equally, big toe, little toe side, lifting the chest, lengthening through the front body, keep the kneecaps lifting, inner thighs rolling back, and the buttocks moving forward. So the tailbone lengthens, it moves into the body toward the pubis. Pubic bone lifts up, and be there. And then you can come back. And now give your hands a little break. Bring your elbows into the ropes. So if you have any kind of wrist issue at the moment, you can always bend the elbows and bring the arms in this way. So we do this quite a bit in Dandasana and other poses, preparing. We do this in pranayama. So the shoulders are moving back, shoulder blades are moving in, and then you'll come up onto the toes again. And move your hips forward, lift your chest, and lengthen the front body. So think that you're extending the whole front body from the calves to the knees to the thighs. And then you're extending up through the anterior spine, the front of the spine that faces the chest. And then you're getting a little bit of curve to the back. So while one side is opening, the other side is connecting. You can feel the muscles there, lifting. Stay with your breath. And then come back. And now we're going to come to the wall. I've taken some blocks here. So we'll go into upward dog, downward dog, or Paschimottanasana. And so you can first step forward with one foot, keep the hands on the ropes, and then bring the other foot onto the blocks. Have the heel at the wall, and you can stay into this position where the hips are lifted first, arms are extended, and just get the idea of releasing down, head is releasing down. Look at your toes, stay on the big toe side as well as the little toe side. Press the heels back, release the head, and then reversing that, bringing the hips forward, lifting the chest. Make sure you're on the feet where you can have some purchase there so you don't slide. Move your hips forward like we did earlier. And then as you exhale, coming down, look between the legs. You can even look up at the ceiling if you have that kind of flexibility. And then coming up and down. Make sure you have the feet grounded. So if they're sliding, you can even take a mat on the block. So we've got the block just for now. It gives you a little bit more height. Tailbone moving down. And then coming down again. Release your back. Okay, walking out. I'm going to take the blocks away now. And you'll come back to that same position. First, walk forward. Keep the arms extended. Bring the heels to the wall. Have the ball of the foot at the wall or on the mat. Lengthen. Release your head down. And then coming forward. Stay with your breath. So adjust your feet so you feel that you're on the ball of the foot in a way that you can press into the ball of the foot. And then come back and forward. Hips moving down, chest lifting. Stay with the breath. This is a good way to warm up if you haven't done a practice and you want to do a little bit more. Heating up the body. We'll be practicing some backbending actions, so this will help you to get ready. Inhale, come up. And then you can go a little bit faster. You can as you warm up, you can move quicker. Just take a few times. Look up at the ceiling between the legs. Lift the chest. And then coming down. Coming back, walk your feet forward, and release. Okay, I'm going to show you one for the arms and the shoulders. So you can take your ropes and cross them. And then take your other arm in. And now you're going to bring your arms out to the side and bring the hands behind you. So you can interlace the fingers. So the elbows are moving a little bit forward. They're also moving back. So I'm going to come back onto my toes and move the arms forward and bring the back into the body. We do this in Makarasana, so it's a good way to get the length through the arms. I have my hands on the back of the head, which I'm lifting up as I descend my shoulders. Okay, we'll do that twice. So you can change the cross on your fingers the second time. So again, you're coming into this. Bring your arms out to the side. Change the cross on the fingers. Get that movement of the arms. So you're lifting the elbows up. You're lengthening the arm. And you're getting that curve to the back, lift of the chest. And the ropes help to lift the arms. Move the shoulder blades in, tailbone in, thighs moving back. Okay, now your arms are a bit warmed up, so you'll come and hold the ropes. And you're going to bring your feet up onto the wall. So you're going to be flying here. Your arms are going to be held up, trunk is held up. And then one at a time, you can come back and press one foot into the wall, and then press the other foot. Bring the buttocks forward, tailbone in, and lengthen. Let your shoulders roll back. Keep the feet pressing equally, thighs lifting. Breathe. And then come down. Bend the knees, walk down. Okay, I've come down. I've got 2 towels. I can bring those onto the ropes. So if that was too much for you in either one of those, you can have those little hand towels and bring them onto the ropes. So we'll do it one more time. Stepping forward. Bring one foot up. Bring the other foot up and lift. Buttocks lifting. Chest lifting. Outer hips lifting. Feet pressing into the wall. Breathe. And then come down. Catch your breath. Okay, we're going to go into plank pose first. So we'll use the wall. We'll use the ropes at the wall. We'll come down onto your knees. So again, we're strengthening the arms. We're pressing down. And we will lift up. You can first come into downward dog. And then take one foot in that rope. So this will lift your heels up. Lift your ankles up. You can start with bent knees to come into it. Bring your foot into the rope. And then have your hands right underneath your shoulders. So let's see if I measured correctly. Okay, so the hands are under the shoulders. Press the feet. And the ropes are not exactly where they should be. So they're a little bit low, so I feel like I'm in a little bit of an upward dog. So you can feel that, depending on where your ropes are. Since I'm in an upward dog now, I'm just going to lift the thighs up, move the tailbone in, lift the chest. Keep the feet pressing, especially the heel, pressing back. And then come down. So I'm just going to show you a way to adjust the rope. I'm using the top ropes, and I'm bringing it onto the bottom. And it's too long. I want this to be, so when I go into Chaturanga, my legs are lower. So the top rope, or the lower rope, is too short, so I'm going to just pull this out, and then I'm going to loop it through from the bottom up, and then I'm going to do that. I'm going to push it up a bit, and then I'll go from the bottom, and again. Okay, so it's made it a bit shorter, right? So I'll do the same thing here. So pull that bottom bit, bring the bottom up, and then do it again from the bottom, coming up with the knot, and then pull it. So hopefully they're about the same length. Okay, so now I'm going to go down, and we're going to come into Chaturanga. So be on your hands. So we'll be a little bit closer. You can bring your body onto the floor, bring your hands back, and then come up onto the knees and bring the feet into the loops. So if you're having a difficult time with Chaturanga, this is just another way to practice to keep your heels lifted up off the floor. So you're going to come down and press the heels. Lift the chest. So keep extending through the legs. Keep the ankle lifting up, tailbone moving down, look forward. And then come down. Take your hands forward. Bring your toes onto the floor, come into downward dog. come back down. This time, bring your hands back, and you'll come from downward dog. Adjust your ankles. Come from downward dog. Bend the elbows and come down. Keep the thighs lifting, hips lifting. And then come back up, pressing the arms, lift the chest, and now you're more in upward dog. Keep extending the heels back, lifting the chest. Breathe. The hands are a little far forward, so you can always take the hands back. Usually we have upward dog with our feet pressing into the floor. So here, you're pressing back with the heels. Sometimes we do it at the wall. So now, with the heels pressing, lift the chest. Okay, coming down. All right, so you're going to take these knots out. And then take the whole rope out and put it back on the top. We're going to use for the top now. Okay. So I'll be showing you a couple of different ways. A sling using 2 ropes as the center, and then another way just using 1 rope. Okay, so first we'll do the sling. All right, we're going to do one more, working with our arms, arm strengthening. So many times we kick up and go into Adho Mukha Svanasana, handstand. So this is half handstand. And we're using, instead of the legs up, we're going to be parallel to the floor. So I've adjusted these ropes. This rope was a little bit long, so I looped it over like I showed you before. So I did 1 loop, which made the ropes about the right height for me. Okay? So now you're going to measure your distance from the wall. Where your heels are, you're going to bring your hands there, more or less. If your arms are tight, your shoulders are tight, you can come a little bit further away. And then finally, you'll walk your hands underneath your shoulders. All right? So coming up, I'm going to bring 1 foot so the front of the ankle is there. Press my feet in, and then bring the other foot into that rope. Straighten the legs. Press the feet. So I feel the ankles are supporting the legs, but I'm still pressing the feet, moving the thighs up, moving my shoulders toward the wall, lifting the inner thighs, pressing down with the hands, let the head release. You can walk your feet closer as well. You can do this a few times. So when you come down, just go into Uttanasana. Release the head down. And then if you walked your hands back away from the wall, move them in a little bit closer. And come up 1 more time. So look behind you, see where that rope is. Press down strongly into the hands, press into the foot, lift up, and then feel that the rope is right on the front of the ankles. Press the heels, press the foot at the wall, move the chest toward the wall. Make sure to breathe. And then to come down, take 1 foot down, take the other foot down, come back into Uttanasana. You can hold on to your elbows. Come into resting Uttanasana with your hands on your elbows and your upper arm. Release your trunk down. Have your arms behind your head. Straighten the legs. Lift up through the thighs. Move the inner thighs back toward the wall. Change the cross on the arms. Observe where you are on your feet. So not leaning back into your heels, but move more weight onto the front of the foot, and then make sure you still are connected into the heel. Connect from the outer hips to the outer heels. Inner heel lift up through the inner leg. And then coming up, take your hands on the floor. Bring your hands onto your hips. Inhale, come up. Okay, so now we're going to take, all right, so we'll take a bottom rope and loop it around one of the upper ropes. And bring the knot in and then pull it. So you're ending up with the other knotted end, or the knotted end at this knotted end. And then here, you're just going to make a knot, simple knot, and then pull. So you're cinching it up. It's very tight. And this is a sling now for you to do the next few poses that we're going to do. Okay, you're going to take the blanket, bring it over the knotted edges. And if that's not going to be enough for you, you could take the blanket this way so it's a bit longer. So it's half in front and half in the back. And then you've got more of the rope covered here. Okay? So from here, you can take a couple blocks in case the ropes are high and you're not able to lift up, because you want to make sure you get it into the right place. So these blocks, take them a little bit away from the wall. Turning this way is probably better. Whoop. Don't fall. And now adjust your blanket so it's smooth. And you want it just on your lower back, on your sacral band here. So where is that? Here's your hip bone, and here's your sacrum, right in line with your hip bone. So that's where you want to have it, which is right near the tailbone. So from here, you're going to walk your hands up, and then you're going to lift yourself up. With your bottom rings, you can lift up and just place yourself so you're on that spot, and then straighten the legs. Okay, with the legs straight. Now you're going to hold onto the ropes, and you're going to get that lift of the chest that we did earlier. So that same lift, you can slide your hands down. Just note the feet, you don't want them too high, you want them lower than the hips so that it grounds you, okay? So the tailbone is moving in, the sacrum, because of that rope, so it's a little bit of a harness there for you. You can lengthen, hold the ropes, lift the chest, thighs descending, buttocks lifting. And you can come down as far as you want to. So I'm sliding down a little bit further, thighs moving down, buttocks lifting, curving the upper back. And then come up. Now you can make sure you're on this where you don't feel like you're sliding. All right, so make sure it's high enough, and you can feel there that it's pressing against your hips. You can take your hands back like we did earlier in the ropes. Keep your feet pressing, heels, thighs descending, lift the chest. And then come up. You'll bend your knees and then start to walk down till you find that block, find the other block, and then just bring your head to rest against the wall. Take a few breaths there. And then come out. Good. Now, you're going to turn around and have the rope in the front. Okay, so now I'm on the blocks again, and I'm bringing that blanket and the rope. It's going to come right at the hip bone, actually at the top of the thigh. And I'll come forward. If you don't need the blocks, then you don't need to use those. Just make sure that the rope is below your hip bone, so it's at the top of the thigh. And then straighten your legs. And hold those ropes. And as you hold the ropes, lift your chest. So this helps to really strengthen the back. Still lengthening the front body, so you're strengthening the back muscles. Thighs are lifting, tailbone. So you can come up a little bit higher. So now you've got that same position we had earlier with the arms moving back. Stay there. Take your arms back further. And then, if you don't need to have that rope, just stretch the arms back, Salabhasana, palms facing one another. And now, take the arms forward, reach up, coming down, and then palms facing one another. Inhale, lift the back, lift the arms, straightening the legs, coming down a few times, back and up. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, come down. So coming down on the blocks now. Coming up as safely as you can. Okay. We're going to do one more here. You're going to have the back at the wall. And bring your legs to the wall, your shin bones. Drop your shins. Drop the feet. So you stay in that harness. Open through the chest. Now turn onto the toes so your heels come closer to you. Move your arms back and take your hands back towards your heels. So my heels don't quite go toward my hands enough, so I'm just going to stretch back. Come up. Okay. The rope is on the hips. Feet are lower than my hips. Coming down, getting that curve to the upper back. Thighs keep pressing down toward the floor. Tailbone moving in. And so I have a little bit of support for the head here. It's not required, but you can build that up. You could have 2 bolsters if you wanted. And then you can bring your arms over. So seeing what's required. This chair could go a little bit further away from me. I'm extending my arms. Thighs descending. So if you don't require the bolster, you can just take your arms back and lengthen. Take them wherever you need to take them. Press the feet into the wall, move the thighs down, curve the upper back, and be there. When you're ready to come up, bring your hands back onto the ropes. Start to walk yourself down. Coming all the way down. Bring your forehead to the wall. Let your breath recover. And stabilize. Okay, so I'm sure that was invigorating for you. So just doing what you can do. You required practice in your backbending, and all of your other practices to be able to go into backbending safely. Okay, now we're going to use the chair. Okay, we're going to go into Viparita Dandasana, and we're going to have a little bit of support for the lower back, using that rope to bring the tailbone in, like we've been doing with the harness, so that same action. So I've taken one of the long ropes, and I've moved it to the lower ring. And you'll just have to adjust depending on how long your rope is, the position of your chair, and I brought my blocks so that they're sideways like this. So I've measured, and I can bring my foot up against it. So you either want to have them at the wall, on top of the blocks, or at least pressing into something. Okay, so I'm going to sit into the chair now. And then take that rope over and bring it right onto my sacrum there. Have both pieces of the rope over the back of the chair. And here's where you're just going to have to see, is it the right distance? So as I come down now, move the hips down, move the tailbone down. So you have to lift up to do that. And then bring the ropes back in. And then from here, if you're in the right position, you'll feel that rope pulling, moving your sacrum into the body. And then I've taken my feet so I can press the mounds of the toes there at the block, press the heels, open the chest, thighs descending, and then I'm going to take my hands underneath the chair. Okay, as I do that now, I can feel that rope. So it's taut, right? There's no slack in the rope, and it's pulling right where we had the sling when we were doing those other back bends. So it just gives you some direction, it gives you some idea. Now you want to keep the thighs moving down, chest lifting. Stay with your breath. Now once you've got that opening, then take your hands behind you, extend the arms, extend into the heels. So keep the heels moving toward the wall, mounds of the feet lengthening, thighs descending, and reach the arms over. Now here you can take your hands behind you, like in that Makarasana that we did with the ropes. Lengthen the back of the head. Shoulders are moving up away from the back of the head. And you keep that weight on the thighs. Thighs moving toward the floor. Stay with the breath. Now you can move the elbows closer, so it would be more like in Shirshasana. Forearms moving toward the floor. Stay with the breath. Observe the sensations that you can feel. Breathe into it. Feel the quietness coming through the mind. And now, to come up, you're going to take your hands back on the chair, bend the knees, bring your feet in a little bit, and move your hips into the chair, into the center of the chair, in case they were too far out. Helps you to come up easier. Pull and come up. And then take your rope off. Just do a gentle twist here. Bharadvajasana. You can even take that rope. See if we've got the right distance. Move your chair back a little bit. Have that right at the shoulder blades. And then use the rope. Start to turn. Hold on to that rope. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, turn. Walk your hand back. You can feel the rope. You can feel the body turning on the rope, so you know whether you're moving or not. So lengthening up. Exhale, turn. And then release. If it's not tight enough, then walk back with your hips a little bit. Take one arm back, one arm forward. Knees together, feet on the floor as in Tadasana. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, turn. If it's on your breast, then just bring it down below so it feels comfortable. And then turn. And release. Come out of the chair. You can stay in the rope. And come forward. Uttanasana. Have your feet in line with the outer edges of the mat. Walk forward. So the thighs are being drawn back. And then just take your right hand onto your left calf. Bring your other hand onto your hip. Inhale, lengthen forward. Exhale, turn. So gentle breaths, lengthening and turning. Releasing the side trunk, releasing the lower back, middle back. And then release. If you feel like you're not exactly on the front of the foot and the heel, just make sure you adjust. So when you are practicing, notice what's happening in your body and make those adjustments until you feel that you feel symmetrical, and you can bring some quietness to the mind. So the alignment is really about the alignment of the mind. And then release. Bring your feet together. Come up. Take your rope off. And then you can use your chair since you have it there and just lie down for a Savasana. Bring your legs up onto the chair. Rest your calves. Make sure there's nothing there. Adjust your shoulders. And then just let the legs be heavy so that the femur bone is moving down. If you have long femur bones, then you could build up by bringing another blanket on the chair or a bolster, whatever you need, so that your knees and your thighs are perpendicular. And then just be there and rest. Letting go. Let go with your exhalation. Just allow yourself to completely unwind from that strong class that we did. Namaste. Thank you for joining me. I hope you feel more energized and stronger and have a little bit more clarity and a lot of blood moving through the body. So it's good to do back bends, and it's good to know how to do it in the ropes because we can get the right direction, get the right actions, but still be supported. So take your time with this, review it, and come back to it. And I'll see you in the next class. Thank you for joining. Namaste.